You've just finished some great activity in the outdoors. You've been hiking, biking, long walk. I just came from a roller ski, and we're gonna do a cool down. So what kind of principles do you want to be thinking about while you're cooling down? There are all kinds of stretches. I'll take you through a few basic ones and the basic principles of a cool down. So the first thing is you want to be moving the muscles. So you want to be pumping the metabolic waste out of the muscles. So with the neck, we'll just keep it moving very gently, not too fast. Gentle stretch. And then rolling forward, tuck the chin. So we're pumping out all that waste that's built up after you've used up all that energy. All right, we can get some shoulders in, shoulder rolls, just to loosen up the connection between the neck and the shoulders and the spine. And then we'll tuck that chin and roll down, loosen up the spine. That might have tightened up the muscles around it, might have tightened up a bit. Open up the chest. Even if you've been using mostly lower body, the upper body is involved because it is the counter movement to your lower body. Some twists of the spine. You can do that with the arms overhead, your feet nice and wide to keep the hips straight. You can do that with your elbows at shoulder width, and then with the arms down, just to hit different parts of the spine. We go into some side lunges. So again, that idea of just side to side, moving, scooping the hips down, getting the inner thighs stretched out. Don't go too quickly. If it feels like it's really pulling, then we're going really, just go gently into that. We only want a gentle stretch, not a great pull. Rather than just sitting there, we're going to pump out the muscles a little bit. Then we can go into some standing hamstring and hip flexor. We're going to actually do a little contract, relax. We're going to do contraction of the opposite muscles to what we're stretching. So we'll pull the toes toward the shins here and stretch out the calves. At the same time, push the hips back so that you can get the hamstrings stretching. And from there, just to keep things moving, we'll tuck the tail. So rather than arching the back, we'll tuck the tail, push the hips forward, and give the hip flexors and front of the body a good stretch. So to keep it moving, we'll go in and out of both of those. Pull the toes to the shins, hips as far back as you can, feel the whole back of the leg. And then hip flexors, tuck that tail and reach up. I like to just gently go back and forth, even with both arms, whatever works best for you. If balance is an issue, just hold on to the wall. So of course you're doing that both sides. And then the figure four for the glutes. So again, if you need to hold on to something for stability, by all means, go for it. We don't want to sit down on the ground because it's cold and wet, so I'm showing you something that you can do while you're still standing up. Now, some people will find this really uncomfortable to balance. Depends on you, what you're doing here. You can make this a little more effective by doing a contract relax, by squeezing the glutes for about 5 seconds, and then relax the glutes and let them stretch. And do that maybe 3 to 5 times. That's the figure four. Now, if that's uncomfortable, you can find a bench or you can use your car seat. That's what I did after my workout today. I had driven to where I could roller ski. So you're going to squeeze your glutes. So this is a modified pigeon. I have my leg raised and crossed in front of me. So if I turn sideways, there you can see it a little bit. All right, with the other leg down, the knee is underneath and the leg is as straight as you can get it, depending on how high up you are. Again, squeeze the glutes for a little bit and then relax them. Do that for about 5 seconds, 3 to 5 times. And of course, you're getting both sides of that. We're going to go into quads. Now, some people may need to be sitting for this one. So you're dropping. You've seen this many times. Your hand is holding on to your ankle behind you. If you can't reach your ankle, you can certainly use a band for that. Some sort of band, a towel, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt to hold your ankle upward, right? And then, again, rather than arching, we're going to tuck the tail underneath, and you'll start to feel more of a stretch in the hip flexor and the quads. If you want it a little bit more active, as we've been talking about, you're going to squeeze the glutes and sort of push the foot against either your hand or whatever you're holding it with for about 5 seconds, and then release, but keep the stretch. So enjoy that stretch for a little bit. You might need to be holding on to something for this. Go in and out of the contract, relax for that. And then last but not least, the calves. You're wanting to stretch the calves with straight leg first, and then with bent leg. So I'm still pushing my heels toward the ground with a bent leg, and I'm getting lower calf. Straight leg, I'm getting upper calf. Now if you want a little more out of this, again, we get the contract, relax. So in this case, we're going to contract the muscle that is opposing the one that we are trying to stretch. So again, pull the toes toward the shins. Pull the shoulder blades down and back just to keep some great posture. And we'll do the same thing as you bend the leg. Pull those toes toward the shins. All right, so if you want just a little bit of extra for the hips, because that does tend to get stiff pretty easily, you can cross one foot in front of the other. So if you can see me, cross one foot in front of the other, and then push your hips way back and forward fold. Again, some people may need to have their hands on something for stability. We're getting the calves, we're getting the outer hip, depending on how tight your hips are. And then roll up one vertebrae at a time. You switch legs, do the same thing, and spend a little extra time on whichever side you may feel extra tension on. This one really shows up if you have a lopsided, some extra tension on one side or the other. So a few exercises to do and a few principles to consider when you are cooling down outside after your outdoor activity. Enjoy!